to the cholerics. So
Yes.
the cholerics, these are people who are, they are workaholics. They know how to plan their work. They are natural leaders. They'll jump in any time. By the way, they don't run away from a crisis. If there's a crisis, they'll jump in. They know what's supposed to be done, everything, you know. They know how to work around with people, you know. So that's their good side. They're workaholics. They'll get the work done. You want anything done,
They're the people to go to.
They'll get the work done.
Yes. And they're not as, you know, will you say they're as slow or maybe as patient as the phlegmatics, or now this ones, they will do whatever it takes to just get the work done?
Yeah, so now getting to the other side, they are very intolerant, very impatient. They will step on everyone's toe to get what they want. Everybody, you know, and they're very domineering in a meeting. It's like you find there are people, they're the only ones who are talking. It's like no one else has any ideas to share.
Goodness.
Yeah, it's like no one else ever thinks. It's them, it's their way or the highway. You know, they believe, and anyone who's better than them has to be another choleric. Yes, someone with like the same kind of energy.
What?
Know? Yes. So anybody else bringing an idea that, you know, they're like, you know, they want to really assert their way. Yeah, they're not the best people to like you know, empathize. You know, the people who can't even empathize.
Yes,
So
yes. It's not an emotion they are very familiar with.
Yeah, okay, pole but you know, but there are those others who come, they comfort you and you even feel comforted. That's not their gift.
Okay.
It's not their gift, yeah.
Great, cholerics.
Yeah, so that's just the downside. So for them, they'll do anything to just get, even if it's stepping, whatever it will take, step on your toes, do everything, you know, and they won't care much what you feel. You know, they can apologize later, but the work was done.
The means, the end justifies the means.
Yeah. Okay. Then we come to the melancholics. The melancholics, these are the creatives. Okay. They are the thinkers. You know, people like Bill Gates, people like somebody who's anajifungia in a dormitory room for 5 days or for 6 months, come up with a system. People like Albert Einstein, people like Isaac Newton,
the geniuses of this world.
Thinkers. They were thinkers. They are people who, you know, they love their quiet. Their best work, they're very creative. Their best work is when they're quiet. So they're very creative. They are very thoughtful. They are time, you know, they're schedule oriented. So they will keep time. So if you're not there Moikali by 5, I'll be gone, and they'll be gone. You know, they're schedule oriented. So for them, if you tell them, oh, there's a trip that has been planned, everything is paid for,
random, let's go.
Moikali is like, hey, let's go.
Let's go.
Then they're like, excuse me, I've not planned. I've not, you know,
like you don't need to plan, so just carry your clothes.
They have to see that they have planned, thought about it, carefully researched. They are the researchers. Okay. You know, so they want to see, they do things like that. So also you find they'll make least mistakes because they are very careful with everything they do. You know, they plan everything. Now, the other side is that now as you plan, wait, research, do all that, opportunities go. You know the nature of opportunities. Yeah? They're not there for you. They're not waiting for you. They'll lose on opportunities. And because they're very quiet, this is actually the personality or the temperament where you'll find most people even get into stress, depression and all that. They are most prone. They keep things inside. They are the meanest people ever.
Oh yeah,
they're very mean. You know, for a melancholic to help you is like, you know, they're giving their life. You know, yeah. So they're very mean people. They are they keep things inside. This is someone who remind you, you did this to me 3 years ago. They keep things inside. They keep a record of wrong. You know, so yeah. And then also they are not very outgoing. They are not. They're just quiet. You know, they're not outgoing. In fact, you can tell by their colors. You know, dark colors, dark blue, dark green, what?
Gray.
So that you don't realize they are there. You know, they don't want anyone to notice them. They don't want their attention. They don't want, So that's the other side, the other side of them. And then coming to the phlegmatics, these are the kindest people ever. They are very warm. They are very sweet. They are very peaceable, you know. These are the best friends you can ever have, you know. So for them, they focus on relationships. Actually, you know, there's a book I was reading about companies that have been there for like a long time, like 150 years. You know, the company like that, 200 years, a company has been there. One, they say that the success of these companies usually was on, they even examine like the temperaments of the CEOs. Most of the CEOs were phlegmatics because they're able to keep relationships. Like you find this company and this company have a relationship of 150 years, 100 years. They know how to keep relationships. They know how to keep friendships. They know how to keep, you know, so they'll be there for a long time. So whatever they start with is likely to go on and be stable for a long time. But then on the other side, they are also not very, they don't like change, you know, they're very adamant. They are very fearful, don't like getting into new things, you know. So there's all that. So you find you don't also, sometimes you may also not achieve much in life. Yeah.
Okay,
They don't take initiatives anywhere. Who will do this? Who will volunteer to pray? And you they will not. They will not. They don't take initiative.
But then they're very loyal.
They're very loyal. When it comes to
Yes.
leadership, they're very reluctant. You work with such a person, they are very reluctant, but they are good people. They are loyal.
Sarah,
and
is
all
it
that.
is it a possibility for one person to have two temperaments?
Yes. What happens is that you have a dominant one, then there's a runner-up. So
Okay.
you can be a sanguine, and your runner-up is let's say maybe a choleric.
Okay.
You can have that. So that's why it's good to take tests. That's why, like, you know, when I coach people, I tell them, okay, let's take a test. So you find there's a dominant one. You know, maybe a dominant one is called phlegmatic, but then the second one is like a sanguine.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so you can have that. Actually, you have all the four, but in different percentages. This is the dominant one, and this is the one you must really watch.
That's the one that's very loud.
Yes, that's
that
the one
can
that
suppress the others.
It suppresses the others.
Yeah.
It comes out more, and it's important that you know, so that you know how to relate with people. Now, when it comes to relationship, can I say that?
Please, before we get into the questions,
Yeah.
Nona Tuzna stream in. That's where we are in the month of love.
Yes.
Let's focus on that.
Naturally,
Yes.
a sanguine will attract a melancholic. Naturally, because
Wait, a sanguine and a male.
yes,
The genius.
yes.
Okay.
Can you imagine two sanguines
I
even
think
in a
that,
date?
that won't work for sure. So the male is not loud. Please note, I'm thinking about myself for a tiny bit second.
Yes.
So the male is the quiet genius.
At least they can listen to your
Yes, I
stories.
can be loud.
Yes, so at least we complement each other like that.
Yeah.
You know, because one is bubbly, the other one is quiet, so there's
Yeah.
that kind of balance. Yeah, and then because the two of you are loud, who will speak, who will listen? You know, I'm only listening so that I can also say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the choleric will naturally attract the phlegmatic naturally. You know, because you know, one is leader, the other one is like a follower.
Yes.
You know, so at least yes,
okay.
so that is also, they complement each other very well. Now imagine a choleric and a choleric.
That won't work.
I'm telling
I
you,
think even choleric and sanguine might be a problem.
it might be a problem. It
But-
might not last the second date, because one is
I want to
assertive.
lead and the other one is very loud.
Yes, too loud for anything, you know. So,
Okay.
so it becomes a challenge. So it's important, you know, so that you don't push yourself, or you talk too much, you know, and then you end up shooting yourself out of opportunities. You end up saying what you are. The people you meet, the first like 30 minutes with them, you know about
That
them.
is true. I think I have
You know
met.
everything.
That means I'm not probably a sanguine. I may be, because them they're sanguina.
No, you know, there are people-
That's not a word.
yes, you know, there are those who are obvious. They are obvious sanguines. They are very
Yes.
like obvious. There are
Yes.
others who are not obvious sanguines.
Okay.
There are people who are very obvious cholerics and are not obvious. So there's all those, you know, levels.
Okay. Good morning, Wikali. It's Sharon from Kimathi University. I think I have two. You know, sometimes I'm quiet, then other times I'm loud and all over. So that is exactly what you're talking about right now.
Yes. So there are the two of them. There
Yeah.
are the two of them. But you have your dominant one.
Yes.
You have your dominant one.
So you need to do a test to find out which one it is.
It's good
so that
to
you
do a
stop
test.
saying you are loud.
Yes.
There's a name for it. There's a
Yes.
name for that personality.
yeah, that is loud.
That is loud
Yeah.
and all over the place.
Yeah.
Hi, Wikali. I'm Melanie from Huruma. Always loving the show. I think, or rather, I know I'm a sanguine. Please do tell us how you think, or you know that you are a sanguine. You were
Yes.
talking about something just before we go. On a break. You're talking about how the temperaments affect the workplace as well.
Yes, and your career. But
And
this
your
is something
career.
that should even be taught in school, so that
Yeah.
you can, you know, because what happens, you go through, you just saw a good course like journalism, you did it, you know,
Yeah.
and then you get like, you in a place like this, but your temperament is not really aligned to that kind of work, you know, something that is outgoing. You are more of a, you know, quiet person and all that, you know. So that's why you'll find somebody who is like, let's take for example a sanguine, and then you took accounting, you took business management, accounting, auditing. You know, let me tell you, you are a very frustrated person at work, because that's not your it's not your cup of tea, it's not your personality, it's not at all. you
Yeah.
know. So it's important that you get to know, and we even teach this in school, so that even as these kids go to choose their courses, they know something, they pick something that's aligned with who they are, you know. So it affects the workplace, because first of all, maybe you don't know your temperament, so maybe you are a supervisor, you are loading over everybody, you don't know that it's maybe you think that's just how things are done, and that's just what you know. You don't have the awareness. You don't have the awareness of how it affects other people, which other personality or temperament you annoy. You need to know all that. So it affects the workplace. You find people, they either they hate the bosses so much. That's why we hate the supervisor. They hate their backbiting a lot because they don't know their personality, and possibly you also don't know. And because you don't know yours, you can't appreciate or tolerate the other person. So you find a lot of these, small fights here and there in the office politics and all that. You find it affects a lot. So that's why it's important, even as a company, as a department, do a personality test, engage a coach or a trainer, do a personality test so that you're able to know, so that you meld better, you understand each other better, you meld better. It's very important. Now, even for those children who are in school, I'd recommend just go online. Just because right now I think that's what I can tell you. Just go online and do a personality test. This is you'll see several of them. You can even do several. You'll see like there's a trend, there's a pattern, and then it will be able to advise. And if you go to a good career, we also do career advice to students. We are able to tell you, okay, according to your personality, you are an outgoing person, these are the careers you will do best in. You still, if you're a sanguine, well, you still do well in your accounting, but there's another place where you are. It will be like fish in water.
Yes.
It will be like fish in water. You flourish.
Oh, great. Unasema, is it true? Can I have 3 personalities? Where is it? Where are you? Is it possible to have 3 personalities? Like you said, I think you mentioned that we all have the 4. It's the different percentages that actually matter. Which one is dominant?
Exactly. We have the 4. But one is more dominant.
Okay.
One is more dominant.
All right.
Yeah.
Good morning. I think I'm a phlegmatic. I guess I'm the most afraid person in the world. Mi hata amatatu siwezi shuka peke yangu. People have to be alighting so that I can follow. That is Wanjiro from Nakuru.
Yes, that's just a phlegmatic.
That's a phlegmatic.
Very
for sure.
fearful people, fearful of change. What will people say? These are people now. It's very possible you go through life thinking, what are other people thinking about me? You are afraid to make
so you'd
changes.
rather be in a crowd, not seen. You don't want to stand out.
Your main concern is to be accepted by everybody.
Okay.
Yes, you want to be accepted. You don't want to be in problems with any person.
Actually, the one who starts trouble.
No.
These are not activists.
Yeah, so there are people you find it's possible you go through life and you don't achieve much. So you need to just overcome your fears.
So it's good to know these things so that you can work hard.
You work on them.
You work on them.
Yes, you work
not
on
just
them.
to understand, but to also work on.
Yes.
Locally, you need to be quiet when you go to certain places because you know your personality will not let you if you let it fly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you so much for coming through, Sarah, and for teaching us. We have been your students this morning, and we appreciate that. How can people get in touch with you?
So on social media, Facebook, Sarah Munyi the Life Coach. I share a lot of this stuff. On Twitter, Sarah Munyi the Life Coach. On Instagram, Sarah_Munyi. On YouTube, I have a YouTube channel, Sarah Munyi TV. I see you.
Thank you so much for coming through. My director is definitely a sanguine today. We're taking a very short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about, those speed dating things. Is matchmaking an actual thing? Would you actually be up for it? Ama hiyo tuliacha kitambo wenye ulikuwa unatafutiwa kwa neighbor ama family member fulani. We'll be talking about that after this short commercial break. Don't go too far. This is Full Circle with Mwikali.